Niddah Daf Mem. Up until now, we learned that if a woman gives birth to a boy, she has 7 days of Tumah and 33 days of Tahara, and if it's a girl, it's 14 days of Tumah and 66 days of Tahara. Says the Tanakama, brand new Perek, Yaitze Doifen, that only applies to a woman who gives birth naturally. But if the baby was born through a cesarean, the woman doesn't benefit with days of Tahara, and she doesn't have Tumah, and she doesn't even bring a karban. How do we know this? Because it says, Isha ki says, Ria Violda. From the place that she becomes pregnant, that's the place where the baby must emerge. Otherwise, she doesn't have Tumah Tahara and a karban. Reb Shimon learns from the word Tazriya that if a woman miscarries a liquidy form, it still has a halacha of a vlad for all halachic purposes. How does Reb Shimon know that a Yaitze Doifen, a child born through cesarean, is considered a child for all halachas? Because it says in the pasuk, Teiled, any type of birth, even cesarean. Tanakama used that word Teiled to say any type of child that's born naturally, even a tumtum and androgynos. How does Reb Shimon know tumtum and androgynos? He learns it from the word leven. So what do Chacham do with leven? They learn from there that if a woman gives birth to a second child after her days of Tahara, she kept, let's say, she gave birth to a girl, she kept 80 days, 66 days of Tahara, so on day 80, she's no longer tar, if she sees them. After that day, if she gives birth, she would have to bring a second karban for that child. Reb Shimon learns from the pasuk Zois Toiras Hayuledas. Toiras is plural to tell us that if a woman gives birth to 2 children, the second one was born during the days of Tahara, during her melois, 1 karban is enough for both births. And Chachamim learn from Zois that if a woman gave birth to a twin after the days of melois, like in the case of Chizkiah and his brother Rabbi Yehuda, who were twins, if it's after the days of melois, after the days of Tahara, she must bring a second karban. The difference between a woman and a man in dam and in ziva is that a woman becomes tamei when the dam leaves her womb, even if it's within her, because the Torah says bif sara, in her flesh. A man is different. A man, his keri, his ziva must emerge from his body. Therefore, says the Mishnah, if a man is eating truma and he has keri already, he must throw the truma out. He can't swallow the truma. But if he feels that the keri is emerging, he must stop it from emerging and swallow the truma, not to waste the truma. How much dam, ziva, keri is considered tamei? Even less than a mustard seed. Even though Reb Shimon holds by a human being, a caesarean-born child is considered a child for all halachas, yet when it comes to a karban, an animal born through caesarean cannot be a karban. It cannot attain gedushas haguf. It could attain gedushas damim like anything else, like a table and a chair, but it can't become gedushas haguf. How does he know this from? He learns it from the pasuk Leida Leida. It says Leida by a regular karban, and it says Leida by a bechar behema. The bechar behema, it says Peter Rechem must emerge from the womb, so too a karban must emerge from the womb. How come he doesn't learn Leida Leida to a human being, and he holds by a human that even if it emerges from caesarean, it's also considered a vlad for all halachas? The answer is because it's 5 against 4. There are 5 things that a bechar is similar to a karban, versus a human being is only similar to a karban of 4 things. What are the 5 things? That by both of them it says the word imoy, both of them are considered kachim, and both of them have the isra pigul, noisar, and tamei. Whereas a human being is only similar to a karban of 4 things. They're both even not a bechar, pashut. They are both even females. They're both not kadosh on their own. A bechar, though, is born kadosh, and they're both not considered gifts to the kohen. And now we're going to discuss a pretty lengthy sugya of im alu yerdu. There's a concept, if you put a karban on the mizbeach and you weren't supposed to, sometimes you take it off of the mizbeach, sometimes you don't, and sometimes it's a machlekes. So we have 8 cases that you don't take off of the mizbeach, 8 that you do take off of the mizbeach, and 3 that's machlekes. The 8 that you don't take off of the mizbeach are 8 psulim that happen only inside the Beis Hamikdash, and that is lina, if it stayed overnight, if the yoytze, if the meat went outside the Beis Hamikdash, noisar, if you left it past its allotted time, pigul, if you thought in your mind that you're going to do one of the avodas or eat it outside of its allotted time or its allotted place. If somebody who's possibly at a mum, he did kabbalas hadam. If you put the blood in the wrong part of the mizbeach, below or on top of the red line, Only Oylas Ha'oif and Chatas go above the red line, and the rest of the Karbanis go below, and if you mix that up, it's possible. If you took the blood that belongs on the Mizbech HaChitzon and you put it in Mizbech HaPnimi, or vice versa, and only Karban Pesach Chatas, if you made a mistake Lishma, you said to yourself, I'm shechting a Karban Oila, let's say, instead of a Karban Chatas or a Karban Pesach, you pass it. However, Im Alu, if they went on the Mizbech, all these 8 things, Lo Yerdu. But there are 8 things that the Psul has nothing to do with the Beis HaMikdash. They puzzle even if before they come into the Beis HaMikdash, and those, according to everybody, Im Alu Yerdu. And that is Revev and Irva, an animal involved in bestiality, Mukta, an animal who was designated for Avodah Zarah, Nevad, an animal that somebody already did Avodah Zarah to it. Esnanu Mechir is an animal that a Zainer received as payment for Znus. Mechir is an animal that you received as a trade for a dog. Kalayim, an animal that was born through a mixture of 2 different animals, like a sheep and a goat. A trade of an animal that won't live for more than 12 months. And Yotzei, in our case, an animal that was born through cesarean. If it goes out to Mizbeach, you must remove it, and the Gemara will discuss what kind of Yotzei we're discussing. And now the 3 that is a machlokes, if it was this animal shechted at night, or if its blood was spilled, or the blood went outside the Mizbeach, according to Rabbi Yehuda, there are 3 miyutim in the Torah. Zois, Toiras, Ha'oila. And that comes to exclude these 3 things that in Alu Yerdu you have to remove from the Mizbeach. Rabbi Shimon says no, they're included in Toiras Ha'oila. In Alu, Lo Yerdu. Have a wonderful day.